Let's just see if you can get one of these dolphins to swim under the hull and give us a look.
Nah, either they can't hear us or they don't understand.
Son of a bitch, I'm sick of these dolphins.
Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack.
David Crane's Amazing Movie Time!
All right, hello everyone, and welcome back for another wonderful edition of David Crane's Amazing Movie Time. My name is Ryan, and with me, as always, are Andy and Justin. The movie we are going to discuss today is The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. This came out in 2004. I think probably the best way to describe this movie is it's kind of a spoof on what's the guy's name? The underwater guy, Jacques Cousteau.
Yes, Cousteau, yeah.
It's sort of like if Jacques Cousteau sucked and was going through a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
And it's starring Bill Murray. I'm saying it's and stuttering a lot, but Bill Murray is the lead character in this one. And I would say this is kind of like during that like Bill Murray Renaissance, right? Like where he was kind of like coming back into the limelight and like playing a lot more of these like weird, kooky characters in a series of movies. This was probably one of the more notable ones. He's also his supposed son is Owen Wilson. So it's a little bit goofy, it's a little bit funny, and it's a lot sort of dry and weird. What did you guys think of The Life Aquatic? And it's sort of funny that I described it as dry when it's a movie about the ocean. Huh?
About fish, too.
About fish and jaguar sharks.
Yeah. This movie is definitely out there. But I mean, this Wes Anderson, the guy who directed this film, all of his movies are kind of out there and a little weird. But I think it's one of my favorites of his, actually. Just because, like, there's a lot in it that, like you said, it's funny. And then, like, at the split of a moment, like, it'll go on for like 10 minutes of just like dry conversation that really doesn't mean anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden there's like gunfire and they're shooting people and
Oh my god, the action sequences are like the two best parts of this movie. Yeah. For sure. Like Bill Murray just grabs a pistol, like runs out with like 80 guys shooting. Like with that rescue scene, oh my gosh, yeah. It's just so laughably, intentionally bad and over the top.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think one thing too that's kind of notable about this film is like the, for the most part, the sea creatures and things under the ocean are all like these weird sort of like stop motion animated creatures. So when you're talking about Wes Anderson, if you've seen like some of his later work, like the Fantastic Mr. Fox, like you kind of see like what that animation style developed into with that movie.
Or the one that's coming out this year.
What does he got this year?
Isle of Dogs, which is like that. It's kind of like a stop motion type of movie. It looks like stop motion clay mixed with like a Team America kind of puppet look. Yeah, it's the thing with Wes Anderson movies, like most of his trailers look like something I'd never be interested in watching. And then you watch the actual movie and you're like, okay, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean they've all got like the same sort of like quirky, weird style where there's like you said, there's like a lot of dry, horrible bits, but like the stuff that is funny is very funny, and like the type of humor, I think Bill Murray was like the perfect lead for this film. Like he just kind of nails that like just pompous, almost lovable sleazebag, I guess. I mean, he's not really, it's one of those films where it's like the lead character isn't a guy you necessarily like, but at the end of the movie, you still end up liking him.
Yeah, very true.
Yeah. It's one of those movies that I could have done without seeing, but I'm glad I watched it. Like it's. I think you guys had said it. It's got its moments where it's pretty funny, and then it's got its moments where you just want it to hurry up. Like it felt like there was a handful of times there where I just wanted to fast forward. But
yeah,
I did fall asleep twice during this one.
Yeah, and honestly, I almost did too, and so did my wife did. So you're not alone.
Yeah, I didn't start it over, so I missed some of it, I suppose, but I don't think I missed anything important.
Yeah, I would almost describe this as like a every 10-year movie, where like I could pop this in like every 10 years and be like, oh yeah, I remember why I kind of liked this. And that'd be good. And in fact, that's kind of what I did here. But I saw it, initially shortly after release, maybe 2006. I don't know. But yeah, some of the one-liners and just like the way Bill Murray pulls them off, like the whole thing when they land on his private island that he owns. Like his wife's like walks up, your cat's dead. What the fuck do you have to say to me like that? What's wrong with you? He's talking to Owen Wilson. He's like, I'm so sorry. What kind of cat was it? Who the fuck cares? Like, he's more pissed off that his wife was a bitch to him about the cat than his cat actually being dead. It's like, he's so self-centered. It's just hilarious.
I thought it was funny that his wife was with the guy that's like his enemy,
which is
before they got married,
yeah.
And then she still goes there to work for him.
Yeah,
it's a weird situation.
Well, and it's unfortunate casting on their part, but it's like every time I saw his wife, it's just like, oh, it's Addams Family lady.
Oh yeah,
like I can't break that. Like that's all I see her as anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this definitely has peak Jeff Goldblum in it too. I mean that's
that's true.
Guy. Yeah, the cast is pretty good. I mean, the German Willem Dafoe just is like knocks it out of the park. Just amazing casting for that. I will say like Owen Wilson was a weird character in this. Like he's a grown man, but like he's like the whole point of it is like, oh, he has a kid again, and it's like a father-son relationship when you're older again, but he acts like kind of like a child and kind of immature in that way, like, oh, you're my daddy type thing.
Yeah.
But then there's other times where he's like, oh, I'm having sex with this lady over here, and like completely adult. So like, it's really weird.
Yeah, it was a little strange, wasn't it? Well, I was gonna say, speaking of who is the enemy guy? I can't remember the actor's name. You just said it, but
Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, yeah. Like I think one of my favorite scenes in that whole movie is when they're shipwrecked and stranded, and he comes to the rescue, and he asks Bill Murray, "What's your dog's name?" I'm glad he made up a name too, didn't he? Like I can't even remember.
Oh,
like
I can't think of what the name was. Yeah.
Like Butch. I mean, it's not Butch, but he's like
Cody.
Jack Goldblum Cody, yeah,
Cody.
and he just walks over and like rolls up the newspaper, smacks the dog, and like yells, "There's bad Cody!" And then just goes and sits down. Like just made no sense. So out of place.
But I think that's what a lot of this does. Like even like the really like kind of boring, just conversational pieces, like that adds to the character, right? Like that's. A lot of these big action movies, you don't really get any type of character you would never realize how shitty this guy actually is if you didn't have all those scenes too.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the jokes are extremely subtle, like the one where they talk about the note that he sent him a long time ago. And one of his response was like, yeah, basically like, yeah, I'm glad you're a big fan. And here's the thing. And he's like, I also know your mother. And like, the joke is like, he's like, oh yeah, this is boilerplate. I sent this out to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I laughed pretty good at that. Yeah, overall, I think it's like one of those movies that if you sit through the whole thing, it's hard not to come out feeling like you overall enjoyed it. But yeah, certainly not a film you're probably going to dive back into and watch. Like, I would be hard pressed to hear anybody say that this is their favorite movie. But it's an enjoyable ride, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of his stuff, but I think this is my favorite of his.
Yeah, I'm trying to look at. I've been looking at what else he's done. Like Royal Tenenbaums are obviously good.
Yeah.
The Darjeeling Limited. That's probably. I would probably put that one over this one. That and Fantastic Mr. Fox are probably my two favorite. Rushmore, of course.
Moonrise Kingdom's pretty good.
Is it? I haven't seen that one. Yeah, he's definitely certainly got a very unmistakable style of film for sure.
Yeah, the sets that he uses, the kind of the transitions and like the colors that he uses are very much his own stuff.
So let's talk about that too. The sets, like you touched on, but like they do a really cool like panning in several scenes in the movie where the whole thing takes place on like a ship out in the ocean, but they have like a half cutaway of the ship that they obviously built on like a soundstage somewhere, and like they'll do these like sprawling sequences where they're just like running through the different rooms of the ship, and it's all like one connected shot.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is really good.
Especially like I liked like the non-joke joke near the end where they're like arguing and like they're going through the ship, and then you realize that to get into the hot tub room, like it's located in the middle of the ship, so you have no choice but to just like walk through this hot tub room. To get to, like, huge parts of the ship. It's like horribly placed. There's just like two dudes and seagulls hanging out there. Are you guys fighting? Yeah. So great.
Yeah. And the dolphins. Those were just the dolphins that he has in the bottom.
Sick of those goddamn dolphins. It's like, tell them to do a pan of the ship. The guy like smacks the keyboard. What are they doing? I don't know. Either they understand us, they're not doing anything, or they don't understand anything at all. Oh, it's so great. And then the one time they do film anything, it's like Owen Wilson and that chick going at it. Yeah. Dumb movie. Whoa. So what would you guys give this on the David Crane scale? How many blobs out of 5?
I'd probably go... I don't know. I'm stuck between 3.5-ish, I suppose, to 4. I don't know. I'll go 3.5.
It's a respectable number.
Okay. Yeah.
Andy?
I'm gonna go 4.5. I really enjoyed this movie. Even warts and all, but like I think that's kind of adds to it. Like if you don't have that stuff, it's not the whole package.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd give it a solid 4. I watched it once many years ago, and I was kind of glad we revisited it because I don't know. It's just there's nothing else quite like it. It's a great movie, especially. I mean, Bill Murray's a legend, so to see him in something like that is awesome.
Yep.
So not bad. We'll have to see if we can find anything. So far, this is our highest blobbed movie on David Crane's Amazing Movie Time. So the bar has been set high by the Life Aquatic.
No one saw that coming.
No, not even the Life Aquatic.
I didn't understand what the kid was at the end. Is that just a rando that he has on his shoulders?
Okay, so that's the thing, is like I was trying to figure out that too, is like, is that another one of his like illegitimate love child? Or
sure.
I don't know.
See, I thought it was that reporters.
It's supposed to be the one buddy's like nephew, right? Like the one guy's like the German guy's nephew or something.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's the kid he's introduced to earlier in the film who gives him the seahorse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. I didn't catch that part.
Yeah. So then it's just kind of like, I don't know, I kind of took it as him like, well, my actual potential son is now murdered because of me. So this is like me being back on top, and I can be like a role model to this person who I haven't gotten tragically killed yet. So it was like sort of like the icing on top of the cake, I guess. All right. Well, I think that pretty well covers Life Aquatic. As always, you can find all things Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. Until next time, be kind, rewind.
Você não sabe se vai ou vem. Pouco me importa se o dinheiro é seu. Ei, baby, se o dinheiro é legal. Passe amanhã, pegue o que é seu. A maquiagem vai desmanchar. Para o seu medo aparecer. 0 a 0, agora eu vou. Você deu uma